Off we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, August 24th, 2021. Time is now 1:05 p.m. This is a special meeting agenda to consider human resources personnel changes. Attending Commissioners Duncan, Brooks, and Filios. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
Only that we'd like number 4 to be handled right before the last item, right before holiday.
Oh, just before holiday pay?
Yeah.
Okay, we could do that.
Policy, yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay. So then we'll move on with our first action item, which is wage adjustments as a result of reorganization and/or reclassification for the treasurer. Kim, are you taking this?
Yes. So the treasurer's office came to HR and we reviewed all of their job descriptions. They had significant changes to all of their job descriptions except for one, which we updated. And so we've gone through the reclassification scoring, we've gone through the internal comparison, and we've also reached out to Ameriband to do market analysis. And so we've notified the treasurer of where the grades landed, and he's in agreement with those scores. So we're just asking you to adopt the grades.
Right, and this is part of our job description update that we started 2 years ago?
It's been 2 years.
Correct. Yeah, the treasurer's office had not updated any of their job descriptions for probably close to 10 years, with the exception of one. So, yeah, it was more of a reorganization, really, than an update.
Better late than never, right?
Yes, that was on my mind, but I wasn't going to call you out.
Okay. I just want to take a glance at,
So
Go that you guys.
the money is the next
the
step.
money's the next one. That's where I
Yeah,
was-
so
that's
this
where
one
I was going.
is just talking about the.
Classifications.
Yeah, and the reorganization.
So you've got the notification of all the old grades, new grades, and titles, and then you have the scoring sheet for every job and the other jobs that we compared them to internally.
Correct.
And then the last page is the new organizational chart for the department.
Yep.
But this is how your office has been operating for a while. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so looking at the projection, the wage projection.
So that'll be the next item.
Okay, go ahead.
Actually moving the people in those positions
Okay,
to the new grade and then their corresponding salary, but this is to adopt the grades.
okay, so basically, but what we're looking at here is the actual wage adjustment.
Right now,
Grade and wage.
number 1, let me see your agenda.
Has it changed?
Yeah, you have the old agenda.
Oh, that's what's on the table.
I know.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, guys. There's not many changes, just the order of stuff, so.
Okay, so what about the one online?
This one?
The one online is fine. Yeah, the one that was
Okay,
posted.
so let me look at that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Well, you got it right there in paper form, so.
that's true too. Okay. It comes out brighter on the screen. Okay, so basically the fiscal year 22 impact is what, just over 20 grand?
Well, we're not to that item yet. We are just addressing the grades themselves.
Okay. I don't have any issue with the grades. If you did the analysis and it is what it is,
We did.
okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Bill? Leslie?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Keep going.
I move that we approve the adoption of the new grades for the department reorganization and reclassifications for the treasurer's office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Filios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. We're good?
Yeah.
So that takes care of item 1?
Yep.
Okay.
So item 2 now is the money that's going to follow those reclassifications.
Okay, sorry, I jumped ahead. Forgive me there. Okay.
Well, it's because you had the wrong agenda.
Yeah. Okay. Go right ahead, Kim.
Steve
Steve?
is handling the money.
Steve handles all the money.
Couple things. First of all, this has not been budgeted, as I'm not sure what the expectation was in the process of going through the reclassification exercise, tardy as it is. But when we went to price the changes associated with this, I tried to take the most conservative approach possible by taking the lesser of. And I think you guys have a standard practice where you look at the current individual in their job description, what percentage of market they're at. Using that same percentage and multiplying it by the new grade that was done by the study, comes out with a new number.
Yep.
And then I also wanted to limit it to that or no more than 15%, even though I think some of these might have came out above that. I don't remember the detail. So using those two conservative governors, so to speak, we came up with these final numbers, which is approximately 20,000 for 2022. There is no financial impact for 21.
Right. Going towards 22, how much did you end up cutting out of your budget for 22?
It's 40 or 50. Now, even though these aren't apples to apples comparison, we do have a contract with an outside employee that's not going to be renewed. We've got notice that was Lori Thomas's. That'll fund half of this for 22.
Okay.
There's some other expenditures that are going to come in below budget, which will fund it. Obviously, they're not personnel related.
Right.
So the 2022 budget in aggregate should be minimally impacted, if at all.
Okay, so you'll come to us in April, and if anything is out of whack, or before then, if you
You mean
see
mid-year?
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, just for my edification, I see two tables here, right? One is conversion, one is conversion at market.
Okay. So the top table, that is conversion, it's actually converting the position and the individual to the percent of market that was requested by Steve.
Okay.
The bottom one is if it went to market.
If it went
that
to
would-
market, so it's for
Yes.
visibility. Okay, I got it. All right.
Yes. And Steve's adjustments are anywhere from 5%. His highest is 15, but there was a significant grade change for that, so.
That's the
he's
one
in
that
the
went from 6 to 9, I
15
think.
range.
Correct.
Okay. Questions?
Nope, I don't think so.
Bill?
None.
Next time, get it done before budget, please.
That would help. But anyway, motion?
I move that we approve the wage adjustments as a result of the reorganization and reclassifications for the treasurer's office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan, Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Thank you, Steve. Moving on to item 3, request for new part-time,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we
We're
just
on the
did
new
two.
one, never mind. Okay.
okay?
Yep, 3's good.
Okay. So, okay, so item number 3, request for new part-time deputy coroner. Dr. Keen, will you take this?
Turn your button. Thank you.
There you go.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to talk with you about a new part-time deputy coroner. Warren Keene from the coroner's office, for the record. You have before you some information. We've been training a individual that's interested in becoming a part-time deputy for the past 6 months. And the State Association of Idaho County Coroners is meeting here in September 13th and 14th with advanced education and training. And if I'm allowed to bring him on and do that, that would eliminate some training later on in the year that's statutorily necessary. He is very enthused about coming on with our team. We've offered him at 21, and I think your numbers are in error because he was compared with the other part-time deputies who had 30 years of medical paramedic experience. This gentleman has law enforcement experience, but not as much medical. And I'd like to bring him on at $21 an hour, which is considerably less than the $24.63 on your information. There is enough money in my A budget for the 4 weeks from the 13th through the 10th of October to meet those financial commitments. And if there would be something that would come up, I would certainly utilize any excess from the B budget with your permission so that it is still budget neutral to bring him on.
And fiscal '22, you budgeted.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It was approved.
Yep. Questions for Dr. Keen?
No, but just keep an eye on that A versus B, because I
Yeah,
don't
we
think
got it.
that you have enough A to cover. So,
You're taking it from B.
If I need to take it from B, absolutely I will, and I'll keep in contact with the auditor's office to make sure that we're good.
sure. So, Michelle, would you be able to let us know so we could get it on a meeting to switch those dollars if it comes close? Thank you.
Okay, motion, please.
I move that we approve the request for the new part-time deputy coroner scheduled in 22 to start in 21.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Okay, so number 4 has been moved, right?
Yes.
So we're moving on to number 5, which is reclassifying the attorney position and wage adjustment for chief deputy prosecutor. Barry, will you handle this?
I will, thank you. Barry McHugh for the record. I have an AT3 position that is authorized to start on October 1st. The candidate that I would like to hire really only qualifies for an AT2. And so what I'm asking the board to do is convert that position to the AT2 and then allow me to use the difference in the funding to bump up the pay for my chief deputy. When he was promoted into the chief deputy's position, there was really not a lot of salary there. I think the increase was less than $3,000 at the time, and I think that if I had the money, I would have asked for more. And so, in as much as there is some budgeting for some budget dollars there, I'm asking for the board to allow me to increase his salary as reflected.
Okay, and this,
Basically it's a no impact on budget.
on the budget, yep,
Even in 22
Correct.
yep.
because of the downgrade. So this is one of the downgrades that will not be re-upgraded without coming before the board.
So 3 to a 2, and it stays at 2 for the fiscal year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does this cause a problem across other positions, raising the wage?
For the chief.
Well, it's the chief deputy.
Yeah,
I didn't put it down there, but
okay.
I guess the only other comment I would have is that in as much as based on the increase, the potential increase of between 5 and 15%, it's still within that guideline if I'd come to the board originally
Sure.
for that promotion.
With both of them combined?
I'm sorry?
The original addition combined with this new addition still would have been under 15%?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
and that would be within policy.
Okay, good. Bill, any questions?
No questions.
Motion?
I move that we approve the reclassify of attorney position from AT3 to AT2 and the wage adjustment for the chief deputy at the prosecutor's office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Moving on to item 6, which is the exception to policy 120 for the prosecutor. Barry, go right ahead, please.
So the position that the AT2 is, the salary is slightly above policy. This is a person who was an intern in my office for over 2 years. And so she brings a wealth of knowledge already on board with regards to being able to start. She was a law student for 2 years while an intern. We're waiting for the bar exam results to put her on full-time, which would be right around October 1st. But based on not only her really excellent performance in school, she was, well, I've been told by my attorneys, the best intern we've ever had. And I just think that with her skill level, I can justify a little bit more pay than she would have otherwise qualified for. And that's the AT2 position that we were just discussing.
Okay.
Okay.
And then as far as job descriptions go and the way we hire between 85 and 95% of market per policy, does the 2 years experience qualify in this case?
It would be 89% for 2 years' experience.
Okay, but he's asking for 93.
Yeah. So based on his, Barry's rationale behind it, it seems like it'd be relevant, and we have done that in the past, where he's combined, or someone has pulled in all their experience as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, if your staff is claiming the best intern you've ever had, that's good enough for me. That's rare.
Yeah, we've had some good ones, and it's really a unique combination of somebody who really, well, the best writer that we've ever had as an intern, and then, you know, I waited until her third year when she had her limited license to really see how she was going to perform in court, and she was right up there with my full-time, you know, deputies who were, okay, I don't want to go too far, but she did very well. She certainly demonstrated confidence and the potential to be a very exceptional deputy prosecutor.
Is this going to cause any compression for the people who you already have on staff?
No.
Okay. Any other questions I should ask? Okay.
Bill?
No questions.
Motion?
I move that we approve the exception to policy 120 for the prosecutor as outlined.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried.
And I think I would actually ask that we do number 7 before Ann's, because we have somebody else in the audience who wouldn't have to sit through coming back from an executive session.
Okay. All right, so we just did number 6, so you want to go to number 7 then?
Yes,
Okay.
and then we'll get Ann.
So item number 7 is holiday pay, number 312, is that policy?
Policy.
312, HR? Sylvia?
Yes. So at the last HR meeting, we presented the holiday policy as proposed, and you have copies there. One of the questions that came up was the Juneteenth holiday, and you had asked Darren and I to go back and look at policy and see if we needed to make any adjustments. So I'm going to defer to Darren to give you that overview of, basically, we don't need to change anything.
So yeah, looked at this again, and there's just no additional revisions that we need to make. So we can accommodate Steve's situation with this draft of the policy.
Okay, so how do we just keep record of, does he need to come before us, or this policy covers it and he doesn't need to?
He doesn't need to come before the board.
He can just track it himself.
Good idea to let the board know, but
Okay,
there's no requirement under the policy.
so a courtesy notice instead of permission.
Yes.
Okay.
And then this policy would be approved by resolution at a business meeting as usual.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And all the 3 departments that were particularly concerned, they all seem to be okay with this?
Yes. There's
I
been.
believe so.
Those
Yeah,
being, well, Steve's district court?
The sheriff's office,
Solid
juvenile
waste.
detention and solid
Right.
waste are the primary ones we
Lynn-
worked with.
Linda, did you want to speak to this, or are you okay with the policy? We're okay with the policy. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Go right ahead.
I move that we approve policy 312 to be ratified at a future business meeting by resolution.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Okay, so moving back up to what would have been our item 4.
Yep.
Public defender wage adjustments. Welcome, our public defender, Ann Taylor. Welcome, Ann. Go right ahead.
I am here to talk about the problems that we're having in the public defender's office, and I attribute a ton of that to our wages. We have historically hired people at the very bottom of market, and we cannot attract or keep people at that scale. The housing cost, I don't have to tell you guys, you know how hard it is to find any rental or any house in the community. We are extremely short-staffed right now. I need to continue to hire people. I need to raise the starting wage so that I can attract people. I know that Canyon County, which is a good counterpart measure for us, hires quite a bit higher than we do, about 4,000, 4,500 more for their very first starting person. But if I do that, then I have a horrible compression issue, and I'll have people with experience leaving even faster than they are right now. With HR's help, Sylvia's help, we did a calculation to try to raise people to a certain percentage of market reflective of how long they'd been with us, so that I can start new people, I believe, at between 85 and 87% of market rather than 81% of market, which is historically where we are. My hope is that I can attract qualified candidates and I can keep people. I'd like these percentages to be in place prior to any raise that happens for FY22 for all of the employees, just to try to keep them moving up and keep people employed by our office. It's an extreme need. We are very shorthanded right now. In addition to vacant positions, I have people who are out of the office for one reason or another. That's caused a lot of case reassignment. I currently have people, when I do their felony case equivalent, which is our reporting requirement with the PDC, most of us are over our case counts. I'm having to conflict cases out that the only conflict is our excessive caseloads, and that in turn will cost this county money. Eventually, it feels like a lot of money up front, but eventually this is something that will help the county stay in balance better than conflicting so many cases out. So my pitch is that you allow the wages to be raised pursuant to what we sent attached. I might have sent an old one, but I think the auditor's office prepared the calculations with the most current one. And still, I think our wages are comparatively below the prosecutors for the percentages of market. But this is the bare minimums that I see to try to keep people and attract new candidates.
So she's one of the 6 that we have identified as in dire straits. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So this sounds just like the same motor vehicle licensing situation, juvenile detention, and
Correct.
in jail
It'll
detention.
help her, because right now Ann is having to hire at minimum because it would compress and
Right.
you'd cause a mass exodus. So this gives her the ability to hire up to, 87% as the minimum.
Right.
And she'll work with experience and stuff from there. But we tried to do comparisons and we're fairly close in one area. The prosecuting attorney is higher in whatever area Ann is, and we tried to do some balancing, but felt like this was pretty, a good starting point for addressing this. And then, of course, these individuals would be eligible for their adjustment October 10th.
Right. And so in the last, how many months? 3 months, you've lost 2 to the prosecutor's office?
Attorney-wise, we lost 1 to this prosecutor's office in February. We lost 1 to Bonner County, and then 1 to Spokane County in the last few months. I've lost a couple of people to private practice. I can tell you that in calendar year 2021, Jennifer did a percentage of our turnover, and we're at 23.7% for calendar year 2021 compared to 18.6% for calendar year 2020.
Yeah. Well, and what we've noticed, we're experiencing just a lot of people just want to change. So it's not even, COVID has created a lot of personal reflection that has caused people to change. So I think we need to broaden our search for people. And
So basically, they would get an increase and then another increase in October.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm struggling. I've got to worry about 830 employees. And your problem is not unique. So I'm struggling with it.
If I can comment on that, my problem becomes the bigger county problem if I have to conflict more and more cases out. I've conflicted 19 cases out since I notified you guys that were only because of excessive caseloads, not for the other reasons that cases get conflicted out.
Yeah.
That's in a week since I notified you guys. If that continues, I mean, I don't have choices. And if that continues, that costs the county a lot of money for that to continue. I recently had a new hire that at the last minute had to pull out because their housing fell through and they could not find suitable housing. I mean, those are just the realities of what happens. And if I can't keep overloading people with cases, they can't keep up. They won't be providing effective assistance of counsel. That's another problem that this county could face. So our situation has really big impacts overall. I'm trying to keep who I have and attract people to fill the open spots.
So the difference for me is juvenile detention and the jail, they have places to go. They can ask the prosecutors or the judges to, hey, release on recognizance. Juvenile probation is going to go help juvenile detention. Patrol can help the jail. Nobody can help Ann. Only the conflicts can help Ann. So on that note, we're also dealing with a constitutional requirement to provide this.
Due process.
So I don't like it either, and this is why I was okay with cutting it out of the budget. But now understanding where she's at and some of the stuff that's happened in the past month has really gotten to the point where we're going to be in more trouble than just conflicting it out. And I'm really concerned about that. So it is what it is. We're in the market we're in, but some of these things require priority. And this, to me, is one of those just right next to juvenile detention and the jail. Because if we don't provide the proper court presence or representation, then it opens us up to broader things, broader consequences.
I need more time. I don't usually do this, but I need more time. There are other issues that I'm concerned with. When's our next HR meeting?
September 9th.
Did you want to go into executive session to discuss people at all?
No, not at this time.
I mean, motor vehicle licensing, people can wait 60 days to get their driver's license or their vehicle license. You can't wait 60 days to be represented in court. So that's kind of where this is just one of those things that we have to provide in a timely manner. And
Well, I get
if
it.
her-
I understand the constitutional question.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into exec. Is there a motion?
I move that we enter into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 742061B.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. Entering into
So what I would ask is that the numbers be gone through again, just to make sure that it's the minimum to avoid compression in order to start hiring.
Yep,
It's,
yep.
would we, 80, what? 87% market. And that's probably what my motion's gonna say. And you want two separate motions coming out and then the change?
Coming,
Yes.
Okay.
okay.
I'm all set.
You ready? Okay, so the time is now 1:48 PM, and we're about to exit executive session. Motion?
Yes, I move that we exit executive session with further things to discuss.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and that was the motion approved to exit executive session. Is there a motion pursuant to
Well,
executive session?
yeah, but I just want to get some things on the record.
Right ahead.
Historically, public defender has hired at minimum, and historically, prosecutor is hired at within policy, but maximum within policy, or pretty close to that, including one that we just okayed today. And so while this compression issue is hard to swallow, I think we do need to offer public defense attorneys 87% of market to come in to attract the positions, because with 23% turnover and not getting it, we can't, the taxpayers can't afford to conflict everything out that's going to need to be conflicted. We've got to get those bodies in the seats. So,
Quick question while you're on that. Historically, at what level have you been hiring?
81%.
81, okay.
yep, and we just approved a 93% today.
Yep,
So-
got that.
Right, so this is still below that. So that's why I'm willing to make this step, because I think we have a service we have to do constitutionally, so we need to make this happen.
Okay. Bill, thoughts?
One time.
Okay. Motion?
I move that we approve the public defender wage adjustments, allowing 87% of market hiring, with the compression issues to be approved, but with further scrutiny from HR and auditor to make sure the numbers are correct.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Before I respond, do we have to indicate that these are going into effect this fiscal year in the motion? Or is that assumed?
So
Next pay
We
period.
have a standard practice, next pay period unless otherwise stated by the
Okay.
board.
So my vote is aye. And the motion is carried. That's it. Public comment? Hearing none. Time is 1:50, meeting adjourned. Thank you.